Good evening, my friends, and welcome. Welcome aboard the mystery ship for a Friday evening. This is Friday, I think it's April 26th. Is it? Maybe it might be the 27th. What's today? I don't even know. I'm so frazzled, I don't even know. It is the 26th. Well, hallelujah, I got something right. One of my numbers came through for me, my lucky number. Good evening, my friends. It is a pleasure to welcome you once again aboard the mystery ship where finally I'm loud. Spud says I'm loud. Not on the mic? No, I'm definitely on the mic. Do you hear that? Do you hear that, Spudley? Sounds like I'm using the wrong mic again. So that mic is working. Bad Zoot says stop. So it's... You do not hear me tapping on the mic. Okay, hang on. This is why I have you people. This is why I have a well-paid staff. Let's see what's going on with the microphone. Settings. Audio. For God's sakes. Thank you, Spudley. Thank you, man. You are on it. You are freaking on it. Okay. Now can you hear the microphone? Speaking to the microphone. Yes. Yep, I know exactly what has happened. You've been lobotomized, Val. You might be ahead of the game here if you're watching this show without a lobotomy. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy, but I'm a little different than the most. Okay, much better, but the volume level is low. I can always crank it up. Oh, I can crank it up. Is that sounding better? Is that VXV? Yes, now turn that mic up so. I think I've got it loud enough now. I'm tickling the VMU meters. Do I need to go louder? Okay, 5 by 5. Finally. Thank you guys. I'm sorry. I have a Crackerjack audio crew based in D Live. And if it wasn't for them, this show would probably never get off the air. I know what happened. Just a couple of minutes ago, I plugged in what I'm going to call the Harley mic, the Harley cam. There it is. And it's barely working because there's no lights on. There's some lights. And it is very poorly placed, the Harley cam, so we're going to have to revisit that in the future. But I'll bet you anything, the minute that I plugged that thing in, the computer's default said, oh, we have a new source. Let's go to that source. All right, we're good now. We are good now. Let's take a quick peek around the horn. We are live at Pilled Foxhole. We are live at Rumble. Great. We are live at Twitch. Yes, we freaking are. We are twitching that itch. Wonderful. How about over here at... I know we're live. I know we're live at... Oh, Lordy, are you going to make me do that again? I don't believe this. Okay. All right, we'll do it that way. We'll do it your way if you make me. 646-493. I have to enter a code. Okay, the code has been entered. I am now logged in, and everything is wonderful. And we are live where we're supposed to be. What's the last place I'm supposed to be live? That would be the Tube. Let's go to the Tube. Let's go to the Tube live and see if I'm live there. Dear Lord Almighty, we are live on the Tube. Volume down. Chat turned down. There we have it. Zoomer is over there. Susan Danielle, how are you doing, darling? We have been praying for you. Hope you are feeling better. If anybody understands back pain, you are looking at him. I'm not kidding you. Great. We have established that A, Zoe is live around the board. B, I'm now using the correct microphone thanks to Spudley and Company. And See, my computer is working again. Okay, it is just like back home the other night when I broadcast. Something was something was amiss, so I stayed up late that night listening to Val Kimber and the wonderful sounds that he plays over there on his program. And while I was listening to Val, I realized, I'm not getting any sound. So I fiddled and I twiddled and I found out the problem. Turns out that one of my jacks was plugged into the wrong location. The minute I plugged it into the right location, everything went groovy. And from there on, I danced. Shall we say some hellos? I'm going to say hello to the D Live crew, since they saved my hiney. Bad Zoot in the house. Good to see you, little lady. Our gang salute for you. Sleeping Stars is here. What are you doing? Gloria Paddock is here. She's going to be right back, but I see that she came roaring in a ninja guinea, and I love her for it. Thank you. D Live is where it's at, according to Val Kimber. Jayla 17 is in the house. Sleeping Stars is here. Spudley in the house. How many others? Artist 61. Steph, how are you doing? Great to have you. John Rogers in the house. He found his account once again. He's back with the D-Livers in the black scene. Amethyst Cat appears to be here. We've got Val says, I think if Zoe got a third bike, it would help. It might. It just might. Thank you, guys. Artist 61, Bad Zoot, Val Kimber, and Jayla dropping ice creams like I am the good humor man. I greatly appreciate it. Shall we wander over to the home of the Champions? I'm talking about, of course, Pilled.net. Pilled.net, right here. Boy, it's dark in this studio. What is going on? Something is really wrong here. Something is really wrong. Why is it so dark in the studio? Am I missing a light? I'm losing it. I'm losing it, people. Just when I thought I had it back, I'm losing it. Well, I'm so glad that you decided to join me tonight. Tonight, we are going to have a look at what I'm going to call the bucket list. What's on your bucket list? I think we can probably safely lose the waves at this point. I think we've all pretty much given in to the fact that we're on a ship somewhere out at sea. Thank you kindly to Wilma. Was that her name? Wilma? We named that manatee something. I can't remember what it was. Thought it was Wilma. That's Val Kimber's flame. She has the hots for Val, the horny manatee. Val Kimber has a way with the ladies. Okay, yes, we're live around the board. Did I say hello over at... I didn't, but I would if I could. Apparently there are 6 people watching on Rumble, so you Rumblers, hello. Wonderful to have you aboard. Thank you for joining us aboard the Mystery Ship. Tonight, folks, we're going to be exploring the bucket list. The bucket list. Do you have a bucket list? Is it something that you've even remotely considered? I never thought about it for years. In fact, when that movie came out, who was in it? Was it Jack Nicholson? I'm such an anti-Hollywood person that I don't watch movies. I just don't watch them. But I think it was Jack Nicholson. Let's see. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm right. Movie. The bucket list. There we go. For a 2007 film starring, yes, Jack Nicholson, Morgan Freeman, Ooh, it made the Rotten Tomatoes. It must be a shitty movie. And why wouldn't it be? It's got two of Hollywood's biggest douchebags in it. Well, that makes perfect sense. Do you have a bucket list, people? Have you ever considered putting together a bucket list? I I personally didn't used to have one. Now I don't know how many things you're supposed to have on your bucket list, but I have a few. One of them, I'm not kidding you, come hell or high water, I am doing it this freaking summer. And that is, I've always wanted to ride my motorcycle over the top of Pikes Peak. And damn it, I'm going to do it. I have decided that this year's cross country trek is going to begin with me going due north. Yes, I'm going up into Washington, aiming towards Spudley and the like. Probably go up and see my buddy Due Diligence. Then I will head eastward, probably bump into Salty Nuts again. Then I'm going to drop down and see some parts of the country I haven't seen. I've always wanted to see the Arches in Utah, that rock formation that looks like the Roadrunner cartoons, Roadrunner and Coyote. Always wanted to go there. Always. Somebody's texting me. It better be important. It best be impotent. It best be. Nope. Nope. They're leaving me alone. After that, straight away, I'm going to visit our friend Baby Yoda, or Bacon Yoda, and I will be in the Colorado area to hike Pikes Peak. That's one of the many things that I've been considering for a bucket list. It's interesting, the bucket list. When you're young, you don't even think about it. I mean, what the hell? When you're young, you don't even know what a bucket list is. Most people don't, and I'll be honest with you, they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. But as I've managed to, get a few more years in the can, I've realized, I've picked off a few prime things in my day. I've done a few things that the average man can probably say he hasn't done, but there's so much left undone. There's so much left undone that, damn it, we're going to be discussing it. We're going to be discussing that on tonight's journey as we sail upon the mystery ship. I'm so very glad that you're here. Let's say some hellos over at the home of the champions, because they're piling in. They are piling in, and I don't want to miss a soul. Victoria Lee is with us. Val Hall in the house. Good to see you, darling. She is a new mod over it, quite frankly, by the way. Crazy Chuck with a K is with us. Good to see you. Girl Patriot in the house. How you doing, darling? Joelaine, our spectacular mod over there, and a rock star. Prairie Fire in the house. Good to have you with us. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Sean Joe with us. Bring in the gold pill love with him. He can't help himself. Same with Girl Patriot. They come in the door. They start spilling gold pills over. They want to see me just like ball bearings on the floor. They want to see me just, yes. I'm still showing the Harley cam. That was about 5 minutes ago. You're right, though. I did leave it on for an extended period. I should have glanced over and read the Pilled Foxhole chat. I would have been much more on the ball. Much more on the ball. Who else do we have here? I don't want to miss it. There's my brother, Due Diligence. There he is. Have a grog on me? I believe I will. There is the SS Foxhole cruising in right now. God, that is a beautiful ship, man. That is a badass. I'll bet that thing's 5 feet long. I'm dying to see that in person. I really am. And I'll get my chance. Zoomer in the house. M1911 Zoom. Good to see you, my friend. Hope everything is groovy in your world. Prairie Fire just gifted a bronze tier subscription to Girl Patriot, who now is, she's got that rock star badge once again. Good to see you. That is wonderful. You wear it well, young lady. You wear it well. Zoomer says, I have a bucket list. Don't kick it. Well, good for you. Sean Joe says he wants to meet a leprechaun. I'm going to give you guys a chance to, I want to know. I want to know what your bucket list items are. I really freaking do. Woke Society's dropped in. Scott, what the heck are you doing, my man? Good to see you, buddy. Hope everything is groovy in your world. It's been a minute. Great to have you aboard. All right, folks, as always, right at the beginning of my show, I tell you what it's about so you can whet your appetites. You have a 2-minute and 34-second break coming up you can take the dog outside. You can run outside quickly and have a smoke. You can run to the restroom and do that voodoo that you do. Or you can run in and microwave yourself some popcorn to get you through the rest of the program. I don't care how you do it, how you slice it. All I do know is we will be back immediately following this little piece of videotape right here. Why do we sail upon the mystery ship? 'Cause we never know where we'll go next. This is the time where I take a moment and I thank...
And so, my friends,
Whoa.
we're so very
Stop
happy
that.
that
Stop
you decide to come out several times a week and hang out.
How do I turn that off? I forget that I have two versions of that. One that I did a voiceover on and the other that I didn't. And I keep forgetting which is which. Damn it. Okay, so this is the time that I normally take a moment to thank the wonderful people that congregate aboard the mystery ship 3 or 4 times a week. I love you all. I appreciate you like you'll never know. You will never know just how much I appreciate you. But maybe you could. Maybe you will. Because coming up very soon here on the Mystery Ship, and I mean very soon, we are quickly approaching the 500th episode. Yes, the 500th episode of the Mystery Ship. And upon that Mystery Ship, I am going to give away some goodies, just like the good old days, people. I've got boxes arriving left and right. I'm interested in sharing them with you. I can't wait for that show. We are currently at... Where are we, Duska? Where are we? 482, she says. 482. That means it's 18 shows until the 500th show, wherein we'll be giving away things like the real Mambo mug, just like the good old days. I've got a box of them right here. This is a giant 20 ounces of love. I can stick my hand in it, and I've got some rather large mitts. You can use it for a bowl of ice cream. You're not going to want to miss the 500th episode, okay? That's my way of giving back to all you wonderful people who have supported me over the last 500 shows. It's crazy. I can't believe it's already been 500. Holy freaking guacamole. Holy guacamole. It is going to be a good time. But thank you to the people who donate in whatever way that it is that you donate, whether it's gold pills, whether it's ninja guineas. Thank you very much, Gloria. I bet you thought I didn't see that, but I did. I did. All you wonderful folks. Thank you, Lynn Winters. She's got the crown. She's got the silver crown tonight. She's killing it out there. Just killing it. Whoops. Hang on. Well, that's good to know. That's wonderful to know. Val Hall says she loves her Mambo mug. That is great. Just Jim. From Jim's Fish and Tackle. Good to have you aboard, buddy. We're going to have to set you off the bow and hook you up with go catch us dinner. Maybe we can get into some halibut. Yes, we'll get into some halibut. So tonight, Mrs. Zoe and I were discussing bucket lists and over dinner. And, you know, as I said earlier, I never really gave much attention to the bucket list, you know, things you want to do before you're pushing up daisies. And for starters, I wanted to know where does the damn expression come from? So most etymologists agree that the word bucket, in fact, is not necessarily a bucket. It was the nickname for a beam, a large wooden beam, which they used to hang pigs from when they would slaughter them. They would bring a pig underneath this large beam. They would tie ropes to his back legs. They would hoist him up in the air, and while the pig was dangling, they'd bleed him out. And you can imagine that over the years, this wooden beam on a couple of posts, well, she began to sag and kind of resembled a bucket. And so somehow the subsequent death throe spasms of the unfortunate animals created the impression that they were kicking the bucket, or perhaps, depending on how high they hoisted them up, maybe, in fact, they were actually kicking the bucket as they screamed their final screams. I've seen videos of slaughterhouses, and it's the most horrible thing in the world. You have to admit that When we go into our nice, clean supermarkets, and we see that nice white meat with beautiful plastic on top of a little white foam tray, it all looks so sano. It all looks so presentable, with the exception of the price, of course, the ever raising price. But if you only knew where that came from, I think most of us would probably never eat meat again. It's that it's that brutal. It pains. I don't even want to go there. I don't want to think about it anymore. What do you say? What's your what does my shirt say tonight? Tonight my shirt says, well, you want to make everything electric? Let's start with that border wall. Yes. You want to make the fucking world electric? Let's start with the freaking border wall. Couldn't agree more. I don't think I could agree more with that statement, which is why I bought the shirt. So, the bucket. The bucket. Oh, look. Leah Worth is with us. James Halloran is with us. Good to see you guys. He says he's eating noodles. Good for you, James. Good for you. So, the bucket, unfortunately, that is, now, there are people, and according to the people that know, the bucket was an item used by people committing suicide, that they would stand on top of a bucket and put the noose around their neck and then kick the bucket, which would make them dangle and fall. But a lot of scholars have ruled that out as mere hearsay, just complete tripe. So we're going to stick with that. We're going to stick with that. What are some people's popular bucket list items? Did you think there actually was a list? Well, I looked into this, and son of a bitch, there is a list of bucket list items. These are quite popular ones that people want to do before they die. I'm going to read off this list, and I'm going to let you know how many of them I've actually tackled. Let's see. One of them is visit the Great Barrier Reef. I would say that would be something I would love to see. For others, it is to visit the Taj Mahal. That's a good one. That's a good one right there. I love travel. I mean, as a young man, I dreamed of traveling the globe. I was, before I got all hung up on my I want to be a rock star thing in my late teens, early 20s, at 15, 16, I wanted to jump on a ship. I wanted to stow away on a ship, and I wanted to travel the entire globe. I really wanted to do that. That at this point, that would be a bucket list item for me. But I kind of think that ship has maybe sailed. All of those ships have sailed. I don't see that in the foreseeable future for your brothers anymore. Here's another bucket list item. I guess I can say I did this. Get married. For some people, getting married is on their bucket list. I guess that would be all the people who have never gone down the aisle before. The young man that I work with is getting married tomorrow. I know there's no chance that he's watching, but Colton Richmond, I wish you all the best, my friend. Go kick him in the ass, baby. All the best. All the best. Some people's idea of a bucket list item is to visit the Great Wall of China. Now, I've been fascinated by the Great Wall of China since I was a young man. I mean, it's massive. It is impressive, and particularly now as a builder, I would have to say the Great Wall of China would be something to behold. Let's see. The next bucket list item for many people is to play an instrument. Well, I got that one licked. I play several. Here's a bucket list item for a lot of people: swim with dolphins. I can say I have done this 4 times, 4 different times. In fact, the very first time that I did it, I was in Cozumel, Mexico. I was at a little place called Xcaret, and it's like a giant. It's like a Disneyland for the water. Picture Marineland meets Six Flags kind of a thing. One of the coolest things at Xcaret is lazy river that flows all throughout the place, and you put on a life vest and grab a couple of beers, and you just float along this lazy river when it's like 100 degrees out. You're floating in this nice, beautiful, cozy river, and it goes into these caves and comes out the other side. But while I was at Xcaret, one of the things you could do there is swim with the dolphins. So I signed up, and what happens is you lay there in the water. You have a life vest on. You lay there in the water, and they take 2 dolphins who come around, and the dolphins are the bottlenose dolphins, and they put their little nose right in the ball of your feet. And I don't know if I can't remember. They ring a bell, they whistle, they do something. All I know is the next thing you know, you are literally flying through the air. These dolphins push you at like 40 miles an hour. And my entire body crested the water and came up out of the water while these dolphins are just killing it. I mean, they are giving it all they've got to move my fat ass across this lagoon so fast, so quickly, that my swimming trunks went down to my ankles. And there was a photograph taken that you can purchase later that shows your brother Zoe like this with a big smile, and my pants down around my ankles with 2 dolphins at the bottom of my feet. I should have bought the picture. I should have bought the picture. Ride in a helicopter. Now, I have done this. I don't know that would be a bucket list thing for me. Yeah, it's exciting. It's fun. I think I flew from JFK to LaGuardia, but it's cool. But bucket list? Really? Helicopter? Let's see. Visit the Grand Canyon. Now, I have been to the Grand Canyon. It is so impressive. I hope that one day we find out the truth about the Grand Canyon, because I'm not buying the fact that winky little river carved that freaking canyon. Nope. See the Mona Lisa in Paris. That is a bucket list item for some people. I have not seen the Mona Lisa. I would like to. That could be a bucket list item. Damn it. I've been to Italy. I've seen the David. That's kind of on par with seeing the Mona Lisa. This next one is one that Batman just crossed off his list, and that's Machu Picchu. For a lot of people, Machu Picchu is something to be seen, and I hold that in very high regard. Man, that is a beauty. I would love to say that I hiked up to that. Yeah. About the closest I got to that was ascending El Castillo down in Chichen Itza. That was another Machu Picchu. Batman beat me to it. Son of a gun. Go ziplining? Now, seriously, ziplining? A bucket list item? Maybe if I was 85, you know, maybe if I was 85, going ziplining might be a thrill a minute. But I mean, a Harley's way more fun than ziplining. Buy a house. Wow, can you believe that? For some people, buying a house is a bucket list item. Wow. I mean, to me, that is buying a house is part of the American dream. Who hasn't bought at least one house in their life? Interesting. I guess nowadays, if I was a 20-year-old today, I don't know, man, I don't know if I'd ever think about buying a house. I mean, I can't even imagine being a 20-year-old today and looking at 60 years ahead of me. What am I going to do with my life? Wow. It's almost frightening. It's almost frightening. Skydiving. Now, this is crazy. I can say that I have never gone skydiving. When I was younger, I really wanted to. In my 20s, in my mid 20s, I wanted to go skydiving, and I never did. Now, Mrs. Zoe has been skydiving like 3 or 4 times. She's pretty much fearless, this woman. In fact, I would say, and it's probably true, she's probably got bigger balls than I do. When I first met Mrs. Zoe, this is no shit. I'm going to tell you a Mrs. Zoe story. I tell you a bunch of Zoe stories. I'm going to tell you a Mrs. Zoe story right now. When we first met, she took me to not necessarily a secluded, but a semi-private river up. It's east of here, about 10, 12 miles. A little place close to an area called the McKee Bridge. There's a bridge that you go over, and there's a wonderful sand beach there. And I think there's camping nearby. It's picturesque, just absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And the way the river flows right there, it is extremely shallow at the beach. But as you go to cross the river over to the other side, it becomes extremely deep. And the other side of the river is a sheer mountain face. I mean, it is like 80 degrees, maybe 75. And when we got there, we brought some beach chairs, we brought some brewskis, we brought a cooler, kind of hanging out, splashing out on the beach, having some fun, some floaties. And across the way, there were some 18-year-olds and like 3 guys and a girl. And they were hiking up the side of the mountain because there was this large tree that had grown out of the side of the mountain. And as you can imagine, the proverbial rope and swing were installed there. So you have to climb down the bottom of the mountain and grab the rope, and then you have to hike. You have to climb the mountain. Somebody does with the rope in their mouth, and they ascend up this freaking hill. And I'm not kidding you. I'm not exaggerating. That freaking hill is like this. So the 3 guys, they all swing out. And now it's the young girl's turn. And she's starting to get a little chicken. Well, Mrs. Zoe had wandered over to the other side of the river. And she told the young girl, hey, if you do it, I'll do it. So, I mean, Mrs. Zoe was in her 50s at that time. And that young girl got the courage. She went up there and did it. And next thing I know, there's Mrs. Zoe swinging like 35 feet above the freaking water and letting go and splashing down. And I'm like, I've just met a freaking crazy woman. Pretty impressive. It was pretty damn impressive. I have no want or need to do that kind of stuff anymore. I used to like jumping into water from heights. It used to not bother me. Just not that crazy about it anymore. Here's another bucket list item: go on safari, or as they say in Great Britain, safari. You know, I loved all those Bob Hope movies, and you know, I have friends who have gone, not necessarily on safari, but they have visited Africa, and from the second story of a two-decker bus that they've chopped the top off, they've driven through, you know, wild animals and fed giraffes and seen rhinos and lions and tigers and bears and all that. That that does. There's something appealing to that. I think it would be exciting. I was lucky enough, 10, 15 years ago. I can't even remember. My life's a blur at this point, but I worked at a place up the road about, I don't know, an hour and a half. A little place called Wildlife Safari. Wildlife Safari. And they have all of the, they've got all the big cats. They've got the ostriches and the camels and the zebras and the elephants and all that roaming wild, and you drive through them, the whole 9 yards. Now, I will say that at this particular wildlife safari, the lions are in a segregated area. They are behind like a 40-foot tall fence. There's no way that any lions are getting out of that place, but you can drive up pretty close to them and see them. It's pretty cool. The cheetahs and the jaguars, they are also caged, but they're extremely nice cage. I mean, if you were to have a pet jaguar, you wouldn't want to keep him in something the size of this garage, would you? No. Those animals need to move. So they have actually very, very beautiful, beautiful pens that they keep these wild animals in. I'm not necessarily a fan of taking wildlife and capturing it like that. But how else are young kids supposed to respect the splendor and majesty that is big game without seeing it up close? They have a rhino up there, and they do have an elephant pen. Now, the reason why I was intimate with this wildlife safari is we built, my company I worked for, we built an elephant pond. Prior to this, they didn't have one. The elephants just wandered in the dirt. But we built like this 100,000-gallon enormous swimming area for the elephants. And I was there the day that the elephants got to enjoy it for the very first time. Mothers and their babies. I mean, it's hard to describe an elephant being happy. But I'm telling you, I saw an elephant, exhibiting pure joy. These elephants went into that water. They had been eyeing it for like a week. We had them behind a fence, and they saw the water filling up, and it's like they knew that's got to be for us. That has to be for us. And the day that we opened that gate, those elephants, they couldn't get in that water fast enough. They had this one big elephant. I think his name was Big George. And old Georgie, man, he was having a ball. I mean, literally swimming. And there's the way we created this thing, it was like a giant lake, and there was this, we built a walkway. It's completely covered. It's like a cave. You're walking through a cave, and when you get out to the very end, there are bars, okay? Bars at the end of the cave, which is open, and it's out in the middle of the pond. So the entire pond is all around the elephants swimming. So they could swim up to you, and they would take their trunks and wrap them around your arm and stuff. It was it was wonderful. In fact, I mean, I think I could cross that off of my bucket list and say that I don't need to go on safari. I've seen elephants enjoying themselves immensely. To me, that's awesome. That is freaking awesome. Visit a rainforest. Visit a rainforest. And I don't know who made this list, but I can see, I guess, I could understand that for some, you know, the ecologists amongst us, that might be visiting a rainforest might be something to see. I don't know if it would be high on my list, but for some people, maybe that is. Visiting the city of Petra. That is also a archaeological ruins. I was recently studying about Petra. I would sooner go see the Mayan ruins than I would Petra, though. They're just far more interesting. Learn another language. Well, I speak enough Spanish to be dangerous. I mean, I took 5-6 years in school and then spoke it on the job site for another 20 years. So I'm not going to say I'm 100% fluent, but I can understand people when they're speaking. And what drives them crazy is I look like some white guy, and they start rattling off, and then I ask them a question in Spanish, letting them know that I know what they were talking about, and 4 out of 5 of them, their eyebrow. Whoa, this pinche güero knows what he's talking about, man. Go parasailing. I have gone parasailing. Parasailing is freaking cool. It is, it's really cool. I've done it several times. I don't know, half a dozen times. Parasailing is really pretty bitchin'. I will say that I recently saw a video shot at one of those resort places, you know. I mean, they had them down in Cozumel and Cancun when I went down there, and, you know, for, I can't remember how much it is, but, you know, you sit in this little, some of them is just a sling that you sit in. Others have like a large, you know, comfortable 2-person sofa kind of a deal, and, you know, a giant parachute, and they, you know, a very powerful boat pulls you, and the next thing you know, you're up in the air. But the single person sling type I've also done, where I had to run down the side of a very steep mountain while people held my chute open. And then as I began to run down the mountain, the chute filled up, and then the guy just hit it, and I watched the coil of rope disappear. And the next thing you know, I was just yanked. I mean, I probably put my back out. But yeah, I remember the first time I did that, I lost my eyeglasses. I watched them fall 200 feet down into the water, never to be seen again. Yeah, I've done the parasailing. It's cool. But I recently watched a video in a resort town of a guy who was taken out on a very windy day, and the boat had him way the hell up in the air. Normally, when the boat cruises along, you know, the rope is on like a 45-degree angle, and the guy's, you know, 100 feet above the water. Well, on this day, it was so windy, the guy was way the hell up here. And then the rope broke. And this guy headed inland towards the hotels, and this guy is filming it with his phone from like the 30th floor of the, you know, who knows, whatever hotel, the on the beach there in Cozumel or some resort town. And you see this guy, he floats up. He's way the hell away from the water. He's floating up in the air, and then finally he comes down hopefully between two buildings. I don't know whatever happened to the guy. That's the kind of thing that scares me about parasailing at these resort things. Okay, you get a bunch of yahoos in charge. You know, another thing that I think is kind of, I have zero, and I mean zero, inclination to do this. It's not. It's not on the list. Thank God. Bungee jumping. Those young kids who get their thrill out of hooking a giant rubber band to their ass and jumping off of a bridge. Okay, so I got to put it out there. I got to put it out there. If you have ever bungee jumped, I want you to put an X in the chat. If you have bungee jumped like off of a bridge or whatever, I want you to put an X in the chat because I want to see who we have out there who's got some huevos out there. Has anybody done any bungee jump? Lulu Cristo, you have bungee jumped? Are you kidding me? Wow. Mrs. Spud says, hell no. I'm with you, Mrs. Spud, 100%. Spud says, I'm a no heights guy. These are the words of TL Spud. No butt stuff, no heights. But don't do either one of those things. Wow. How about over here at Pilled? Do we have any bungee jumpers over here at Pilled Foxhole? I'm looking for you. Val Hall, XXXXXXXX. You have bungee jumped like 1 million freaking times? Holy Hannah, girl. I hold you in a whole different regard than wow. That is impressive. I'll be straight up with you. I don't have the balls to do that. I just don't. There's nothing you can do to make me want to bungee jump. Nope. No, thank you. One of my best friends in my life, God rest his soul, did a thing that they have out in Las Vegas. They have, there is a spy, I can't think of what they call it. I watched him build it. I was working in Las Vegas for over a year and a half, and I watched them build this. I don't know what the hell it is. It's a giant casino, and it's 1,180 feet in the air. It's the Stratosphere. Is that what it's called? Something like that. Stratosphere. It's on these 3 giant concrete bases. It's immense. I mean, it is immense. And at the top, this concrete goes together like this, and then it joins together. Then they separate, and they go up even higher. And then somebody built a giant casino up in the top of it. And there's a restaurant. And the glass all the way around the whole thing is on like a 45-degree angle. So as you walk up to the glass, I mean, you're literally looking straight down. And I'll never forget, I went up in the thing with my boss at the time, who has a fear of heights like nobody's business. And he went strolling up to the window like, Johnny Cool. And all of a sudden he got up to the window and I could see his butt puckering. He backed up from that thing. He walked backwards faster than most people run forwards. I've never seen a guy do an about face. Tom did. It just scared the crap out of him. And I understand his fear. I understand his fear of heights now because years and years ago, he was working on a high-rise hotel. I think it was an 11, 12-story hotel. He was plastering. And they had one of those swing stages off the side of a building, that's controlled by two ropes up on the roof. And you have an operator up there who's, they got a radio and a walkie-talkie, and they say, okay, let us down to the next story. And so the guy pushes a button and the ropes go down, and then their whole scaffolding would go down. And then they'd say, okay, stop. And then they would plaster the next 10 feet. They're there for 45 minutes. All right, let us down again. So I guess they were on their way back up, and they were quitting at the end of the day. So the scaffolding is on, it's on two ropes, and it's on its way back up, and something happened. And quit one of the motors quit hoisting, but the other one kept going. And they're on the radio to the guy up atop on the tower saying, "Stop, stop." But he didn't stop, or there was something wrong with the motorized device. The motor wouldn't stop. But what happened was their entire swing stage scaffolding went vertically like this. And all their tools and all their stuff fell all the way to the ground. And when the thing stopped, it was absolutely vertical. The scaffolding was vertical. And these guys they are hanging onto the ropes for their freaking lives. They eventually figured out what was wrong with it, and they were able to lower that end back down again. And what they did is they lowered it all the way to the ground. And that's how they got out of the scaffolding instead of taking it up top and getting off on the roof. He said when he got down to the ground, he would never go up in one of those things ever again as long as he lived. And so I guess I understand his fear of heights. Yeah, I never had to live through anything like that. I never had to live through one of those. We're talking about bucket list items, people. Bucket list items. Write a book. You know, it's an interesting challenge. My dear brother Frank over at Quite Frankly has expressed interests in writing a book. Even though I'm full of bull and could probably fill a book with some rather worthless information, I don't know that that's ever been on my list, things to do. Not me. Marathon, run in a marathon. Now, yeah. I mean, my hat's off to anybody who has the guts to run a marathon. My daughter, I am proud, mystery ship proud to tell you that my daughter, Ashley, you see her. You see Ashley in the video. Where is she? She'll be coming up here shortly. I won't. Let's see if I can stop the picture on Ashley so I can show her to you. My daughter Ashley is running in a marathon in like 4 weeks. She is going up to Eugene, and I root her on. I think it's going to be very exciting. In fact, I'd kind of like to go up and see it when she does it, because I'm a proud papa. I mean, who running a marathon, that's some serious dedication, people. You got to be. This is my daughter. This is my daughter, Ashley. She is ripped. This kid is freaking ripped. Okay? Yeah. She is running her first marathon very soon, and I'm excited for her. I don't know that it would be on my bucket list, but she'll be able to cross it off of hers. That's a fact. That's a fact. What are other most popular bucket list items? Well, here's one. And this is cool. I have done this. Seen the Northern Lights. I got to tell you, people, I've seen a lot of nature's really cool things, from Niagara Falls to the Grand Canyon. I've seen some really, really beautiful and amazing things in my life. I've got to tell you. I mean, right here in my yard last summer, I watched a baby fawn. It couldn't have been 30 minutes old. It was so awe-inspiring to see that precious the thing was, I mean, barely bigger than a cat. I think I made a video about it. I made a video about it. Very cool. But to see the Northern Lights, that is really something. I want you guys to put an X in the chat if you have seen the Northern Lights. Who's seen the Northern Lights out there? Come on. I know you sailors have been around the world. One thing I know about you sailors, you've been around the world. Who has seen the Northern Lights? Put an X in the chat if you have seen those northern lights. Spudley has seen the northern lights. Peggy Dancer has seen the northern lights. Aren't they freaking cool? Aren't they just like amazingly just extraordinary? Artist 61, Steph has seen them. My brother and I went to Alaska for my 40th birthday. I spent 10 days in Alaska, and I was just in awe, absolutely awestruck at the Northern Lights. Freaking incredible. Incredible. Just breathtaking. There are, I think is it Norway or is it? It's one of those, I don't think it's Iceland. There's some place now where they have these little overnight. It's not a yurt. It's more more splendid than a yurt, but it's a glass domed ceiling bedroom that you rent for the night, and as you lay in bed, you're looking up at the northern lights. I mean, it is that is something really cool, really, really cool. Yes, that is one that I can say I'm glad to say I pulled that one off. I am. Oh, look, Starface has seen the Northern Lights. M1911 Zoom has seen the Northern Lights. Yes, the Aurora Borealis. Yes. Well, awesome. Awesome. That is phenomenal. When we come back, and when I say we, I mean you and me. We are going to open up the phone lines, and I want to hear from you guys. I really do want to know if you have what you have. What do you have on your bucket list? Are there things that you'd really like to see? Things that you'd really like to do before your time has come? Are there things that you just would like to see go down, or I don't care if it's category 5 river rafting, or I want to know, what is it that whets your appetite for adventure? That, my friends, is the question we will be asking on the other side of this short video right here. This is your second and last break of the mystery ship. When we come back, I'm opening up the phones, and I want to hear from you. I want to know, what items do you think belong on someone's bucket list? We'll be back immediately following this here video right here. Why, Mrs. Spud, is that you on the line?
It is.
I,
It is I.
I would. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this work. It's much easier when you call the landline, but that's okay. That's okay. We're happy to have you aboard. I can do that. I can. This is the way Joey
Did I
Mormon.
call the wrong number? Oh my gosh, I'm
That's
so
okay.
sorry.
No, no, no. It's fine. We can hear you perfectly. Joey Mormon did his whole show like this, so surely I can handle a phone call.
Well,
How are you doing?
I mean, I reached out to Spud and Val, and they said this is the number to call. Did I call the wrong number?
Well, you called my cell phone, but that's okay. There's a landline that I put on the screen. In fact, somebody put it on the phone on the chat there. But
No,
that's
seriously,
perfectly
do you want
right.
me to call back on that?
You are here, and this is all that matters. No, we're happy to have you right where you're at. Right where you're at.
Oh my
Do you
gosh,
have
this
bucket
happens
list
every
items?
time.
Have you and Spud discussed any kind of bucket list items you want to do together?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. In my heart, I really want to go to Italy.
Oh,
That is like where I want to go. And we are neither one of us are like huge travelers, but
okay.
I would love to go to Italy, especially like the northern part of Italy, Lombardia.
Oh yeah.
That yeah, and because of the whole wine interest that I have, but I think if I could get Spud going, he might want to go see Scotland because that's where a
Oh.
lot of his family's from.
Well, the castles and oh my goodness, yes, yes. It's it's funny. Mrs. Zoe and I discussed going to Scotland before. Yeah, it would be very cool.
Yes.
Very very cool.
Yeah. So, but we don't travel a lot. I mean, it's just kind of, especially with everything right now, it's just everything's kind of crazy
Oh, yeah.
and whatnot. But
You
just
only live once though,
that's true.
and
That's very true.
unless you make plans and go do it, like let me tell you something. In where are we? This is April 26th. In less than 3 weeks, Mrs. Zoe. Let me call you right back, buddy. I got Mrs. Spud on the line. I'll call you right back. In less than 3 weeks, Mrs. Zoe is leaving for Portugal.
Wow.
Portugal and Spain, along the coastline of Portugal and Spain for hundreds and hundreds of years. People who live there have been making this pilgrimage. It's called the Santiago Pass or Santiago Way or something like that, and it is it's one of her bucket list. Of course, she's a big hiker and a big walker, and she's got this hiking team that she hikes with and all that. But they're going to be doing, I think, 180 miles in 12 or 13 days, something like that. I mean, that's some serious walking.
Well, God bless them because I don't exercise at all, and I couldn't like any of that to save my life. But God bless. I just wanted to like call and say, yeah, Italy that's like a definite bucket list, and Ireland too. I would love to see parts of Ireland.
If you go, you should do both at the same time. Do a week in Italy and a week in Ireland, and come back and say we freaking did it, baby.
That's right.
I'll tell you, you're not getting any younger, and neither am I.
Thanks so.
No. Honey, I got you by 10, 15 years. Okay, I can say that. All right, I can freaking say that.
Of course you can. And that you always have a place here at our table. The lasagna will always be going for you.
Warm and delicious, that much I know. It'll be just like Italy.
Exactly. All right, I'll let you get back to your
so
other
glad
friends.
you called.
Thank you, darling. It's
Glad
so good
to hear from you. Glad to hear
you.
from you. Oh, that is awesome. That is Mrs. Spud. And you know what? I honestly hope that they do it. Spud and Mrs. Spud, I'm serious. I want you two little lovebirds to devise a plan to get your Heine over to Italy. You need to do this. Seriously. You only live once. There we go. Whoops. 535 dash 3766. Enter. Okay. Now the number is on the screen. Floyd, if you're still out there, I invite you to call back, my friend. I invite you to call back. Due diligence, please. Rock my world. I want to know what's on your bucket list. Folks, what is on your bucket list? Should I call him back or should I wait for him to call me? Let's see. There's my caller ID. Redial.
Only one when calling this number.
Oh, shit. Floyd, you may have to call me. There it is. Is this Spud? There he is. We got you now, buddy.
All right.
All right.
Bucket list. This is an interesting one.
Tell me what floats your boat. I mean, for crying out loud, you've been around the world. You've been in the face of death. What turns you on, my man?
Well, the helicopter ride was a good one.
Yeah.
I've done two. The first helicopter ride I ever had was on a rope hanging underneath the helicopter. Second one was in a combat zone in Iraq.
Wow.
And yeah, there's some of the things that happened in that one. It's just definitely interesting. But one of the crazier, and I literally wrote this one off my bucket list, even though I didn't realize it was on my bucket list. But I was coming home from, drill weekend over in Boise.
Okay.
And I was driving my 2002 Land Rover Disco 2, or Discovery 2.
Yep.
And all of a sudden just completely blew up the transfer case.
Underneath your feet? Like kaboom?
Yeah, it went kaboom.
Oh,
and, thank goodness I had AAA. So
Yeah.
I called them up, and they say, okay, you get 100 miles for free. And then anything after 100 miles,
yeah.
you got to pay for it.
85 cents a mile or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they send out a flatbed truck to pick me up. And the driver said, okay, do you want to ride in your vehicle or do you want to ride in the cab with me? And I was like, well, I am a smoker, so I guess, and I can see that you don't smoke. But it was what the driver actually said first. So, did you order the pizza? I was like, all right, cool. This guy's cool as hell. But the funniest part is he actually allowed me to ride in my busted vehicle
On the bed.
98.4 miles all the way home.
Crazy.
Yeah. And, I was sitting there taking video footage and stuff like that, talking to people on the phone and stuff.
Riding
The guy
alone in your own
roughly-
car.
Yeah. And the looks I got from people driving down I-90, because it was right there at the transition at Ellensburg from I-82 to I-90. And it literally, my Disco 2 rolled to the point where it was 98.4 miles away from home.
Oh, that is crazy. Right? I mean, right down to the wire.
Oh, yeah. But it was the funnest thing. And then the looks on people's faces when they actually saw me in my truck. And I'm acting like I'm driving, having a blast, smoking a cigarette, they're just waving at everybody. It's just one of the craziest.
I love it.
Apparently, I got to write that off my bucket list.
Oh, be dang. That's a, I mean, that is a most unusual one. And very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. But there is one. You did mention skydiving. I can write off indoor skydiving off my bucket list, but I still have to jump out the plane now.
Okay. So you were in the thing where they have like a vapor tunnel and just blows you up in the air and you're kind of floating,
Oh, yeah.
kind of
Oh, yeah.
like a jet engine buried in the ground or something like that, or
Yeah. That was fun. And believe it or not, before my adopted mom died, she actually bought me a session for Christmas.
Oh,
I
wow.
was just trying to find the best time to use it. And then, unfortunately, it was just before she passed away that I was able to do it.
Wow.
And we got video footage of it and everything else like that. So she got to see me enjoying
That's great.
one of the best Christmas gifts ever. So.
That's really awesome. A buddy of mine, I'm talking back in the 80s, told me about something like that they used to have out in Vegas where you could go do that. It's all the joys of skydiving without the death thrill,
Well, I'm still going to try skydiving. I don't think my wife's going to like it too much, but I'm thinking about doing that for my 50th birthday, which will be this year.
Really? Well, at least for the moment, you can still say, yeah, I'm 40-something.
I can only say I'm 39.
I'm
But-
the coolest 40-something I know.
Right?
Good
But,
for you, buddy.
It's just one of those fun things.
Yeah.
But yeah, swimming with dolphins. Yeah, out in Hawaii when I was with the Marine Corps, I took scuba diving lessons. Cool. It was absolutely fun.
Oh, yeah.
These were wild dolphins during mating season, and I kept telling my swim buddy to stay close by. Because this is our certification dive, open water certification dive. I kept giving him the symbol to stay close. He just flipped me the bird, and then he ended up getting freaking mounted by a dolphin.
I heard a story I read a story about a young woman who was doing one of those swim with the dolphin adventures, and I guess she was, let's just politely say it was that time of the month for her, and apparently one of the male dolphins had an attraction to her and was like ramming her with his snout.
Yep. I don't know what was going on with my buddy because that was a male, but he got mounted, and I was laughing underwater, and then I ended up taking in a mouthful of seawater. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna die."
I think I've told this one before, but a little while ago, earlier in the program, I mentioned working at this wildlife safari place. And I mean, we were out there literally with the wild animals. I mean, there were times that we had to pick up shovels and chase the camels out of the areas where we were pouring concrete and stuff. And we had problems with these emus. These, it's like an ostrich, not quite as big, but a pretty damn good sized bird. Don't get me wrong, And the emus during mating season would do the same thing. They would try to mount you, and one of my buddies is bent over and he's driving concrete stakes and he's sitting. So I mean, he's absolutely in the prone position, and we see this emu going for him. I mean, the emu is heading for him, and my boss he starts screaming, Phil, look out, man, look out, Phil. And I said, Tom, you should have let nature take its course. If only we had cell phone cameras back then.
Well, we had cell phones back then, but at the time, oh my God, they were not waterproof.
Yeah.
At least for my injuries. But yeah, I mean, that's just some of those things that, especially sitting there with some of the stuff that I've done, and oh my gosh, it's just one of those things. Just enjoy the bucket list while you have it.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Cross them off when you can,
everything
baby.
off.
The thing is, without realizing it, you can get too old to accomplish the things on your bucket list. And that's the thing I'm trying to point out tonight. I just want to seize your dreams while you have the chance, my friends. It goes so fast. So fast.
Oh, yeah. And one of the biggest things I got on my bucket list now is to become my own pilot and have my own plane. That way I can safely fly everywhere.
And you're on your way to that, right? You're working on it?
Yeah, working on it.
Good for you. Good for you. Dude, always great to hear from you.
All right, let me jump off here because I know Valhall wants to call in as well. So,
all right.
Much love, brother.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks for your call.
Oh, by the way, the USS Foxhole is 5 feet 3 inches long
No kidding.
from stem to stern.
I want to see it with my own eyes.
Oh, you will. No worries. And you'll get the sailor as well.
All right,
But
buddy.
yeah, let me go ahead and jump off here. Much love, brother.
Be good, my friend. Thanks for the call.
You got it.
Double D right there. Due diligence, checking in. He's on the what was it, the Google average bucket list. He's crossed a few of them off right there. Most definitely. Well, we got a call from our dear sister Val Hall. How is everything in Northern California, my dear?
Oh my God! Let me turn the screen down because
Already?
dude's still talking for me. Hey, how's it going?
Pretty darn good. How's everything in your world?
Well, I have a great new puppy, baby Groot, and a new job delivering the mail. which
Oh
is
wow!
like-
It worked out. You got the gig.
I don't have the job totally yet. I'm jumping through hoops. I
Okay.
have to do the drug test and fingerprinting, and I have to go to weddings. But I got the driving, whatever. And they love me. Everybody wants me to start immediately. I just
Why
did
wouldn't
3
they?
days, and I'm catching on. So you know what? I asked God to hand me a job, and I didn't even have to look for this job.
It found
And
you.
I got handed the rural route in the mountains up here with the wonderful woman that does it. So thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen. Jesus, take
It's
the wheel.
weird 'cause I got to get up at 5 in the morning and set the dogs up, and I get home by 3.
Wow.
Time to mod season pixels, and quite frankly, it's crazy.
Good for you. Good for you.
But let's go over this. Okay.
So you have
my
bungee
life-
jumped. I want to hear about this.
In my life, I was an athlete my whole life.
Okay.
I played baseball, kickball, soccer, all the sports in school. I ran track in high school. I was not just I was a sprinter, a hurdler, middle distance, and ran cross country in high school.
No shit.
In the Oakland Hills. So we were really good because we had to run uphill.
Yeah.
And we would beat all the other people in the Bay Area because we ran hills every
And they
day.
ran
10
flatland.
miles. So, in my life, I was always working out, and in my younger life, I was always in the gym. And I did adrenaline sports in my 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever.
Wow.
And I did all those things. When you said zip lining is kind of like a bore, I did that about 10 years ago. It was so exciting in the California redwoods. It
Oh no,
was scary.
I'm not suggesting that it's boring. I'm just saying that as compared to say Machu Picchu, zip lining is cool.
We'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
I would love to go to Machu Picchu. I would. The times that we're in now don't lend me to want to go to Machu Picchu or other places. I'm glad of the places that I got to go.
Yeah. Me too.
I took people camping my whole life, even a person who couldn't even walk with a disease called ankylosing spondylitis. I took that man for 20 years camping, set up a cot for him, a chair, took him swimming.
Wow.
All these things that nobody ever would have done for
Right.
this great man who loved music like you, though. He was a good guy, Don Dutro. And when I think about what I did, I'm like, wow, that's amazing that I took this man that could barely walk to all these remote places and set him up.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool of you. But you
But
have to tell
that's not-
you got to tell me
That's
about
not what I wanted to say.
I want to know about your bungee jumping because that takes balls, sister.
My bungee jumping, I had this instructor, Glenn, and he was a great guy, and he was a very serious guy about bungee jumping.
Okay.
And so we would have to go to Indian reservations and these places that it wasn't illegal
All right.
to bungee jump off very tall bridges over beautiful rivers that were deep. And Glenn taught us all very well not to drag. We would all work as a team. Do not drag the ropes on the ground. And we would all have to be weighed on a scale. And he did all the math. And he knew.
He knew his stuff.
Yeah, he knew his stuff. And still, even they had lookout people if the sheriffs were coming or something like that. 3 miles away, he'd get a phone call. And we would have to put all the shit away and drive out and not get caught, even though it wasn't supposed to be illegal. But I got to jump off huge bridges over waters that were, beautiful. It was always just amazing. And somebody said, "Oh, I'm scared of heights." We were all scared of heights. When it was our turn to jump, we got all hooked up with all the harnesses and the ropes, and we're sitting on the edge of the bridge, and everybody would count down 10, 9, 8, and you would jump when it
Crazy.
was 1, and you would do like a swan dive off the bridge. And it was the scariest thing ever.
I'm telling you that there's nothing in the world that can get me to do that. That thing I was telling you guys about earlier, I never finished my story. I do this all the time. I tell a story and I get sidetracked. That Stratosphere in Vegas, they have a thing, and my buddy Bill did it just before his death, where you walk out on this little ledge and you're in a body harness and there's 2 ropes going all the way to the ground and you jump off of this thing and
I would never have done
you
that.
free fall 1,180 feet right down to the concrete below, and somehow
No. There's no way I would jump if concrete was underneath me. Water was underneath me.
Yeah, that's one thing.
No, and it was like the most amazing, beautiful, out in the woods like I live now. Like, it was amazing mountains and rivers and things.
Yeah.
Underneath. I would never do it at the fair, or I would never jump over concrete, ever. But I did that about 15 times over amazing.
Wow.
And one night he called and we were going to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge.
What?
Yeah, and we had to be there to jump at 4 a.m.
So not
That
to
was
get
gonna
caught?
be the tallest bridge we ever jumped off of.
Oh,
Golden
my
Gate.
God.
And I was like, all right, I'm going. and then I got a call, and he said somebody else did it, and they got busted, and we're not doing it. And I'm like,
Oh,
all right.
wow.
All right.
Well.
But the guy that I jumped with, he was so with it,
Yeah.
and we paid attention always to all of his instructions. His ropes and his harnesses and everything were perfect.
I mean, I have seen videos. Nowadays with people with cell phones, you can upload videos left and right. I saw a video of a young woman who did a bungee jump. She leapt off the side and went down. Meanwhile, the guy who just sent her on her way turns to go ready the next person standing next in line. He's not even paying attention to the girl who just went over the side, and the rope broke, and she went down into the water, and he was completely oblivious. And the girl with the camera is going, "Hey, mister, that girl's down in the water." I mean, yeah, they didn't even know. Yeah.
I mean, I even had friends that came with me that didn't. I was saying this in the chat earlier. If you don't listen to the instructions of a person like this,
Man.
Like my guy. I had friends that went with me that didn't listen totally, and then they didn't have a good jump. They
Wow.
got hit in the face with the bungee cord or leg wrapped around because they weren't paying attention. You have to pay attention when these guys give you the instructions.
I would.
And
Yeah.
This guy
just-
was awesome. And
to me, there's just too many damn variables with that bungee jump for me to even consider it.
well, I'm going to go into a news story now.
Okay.
So there was one time in my life where my neighbor, he had a coworker, and she was going to turn 40. So she wanted to go skydiving, okay? So me and my partner and my neighbor, Jerome, we all got up at 4 in the morning. We were going to go skydiving with her. We had to drive to Watsonville from the Bay Area to go skydiving. So we all, Jerome and me and Heidi, we got up and we drove down to Watsonville. This woman never showed up and wanted to go skydiving for her 40th birthday. But the three of us were there, and she was our dream.
So
It wasn't our dream, but we were there.
did you go?
It was a little bit bad weather in the morning, so we had to wait around. But we listened to all the instructions, and all of a sudden it was time to go. And we got in this plane. It's funny when you go skydiving, you get in this little plane, and there's like this bench, seat up the middle. There's no seat, but there's a bench seat, and you sit backwards. And when you go skydiving for the first time, you have a tandem master
Right.
strapped to your back. So you got a guy with you. So we went up, and we're going out the door. They push your head down so you don't bump your head on the door. But you have to listen to the instructions beforehand, what you do. And it's so important. You put both of your arms out and you curl your legs from the knee like you were kneeling. let's say.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And we went from 18,000 feet, okay?
Wow.
And you free fall for 70 seconds.
Holy crap.
That is a really long time.
Yes, it is. It's over. God almighty.
And after 70 seconds, they pull the cord for the tandem
Yeah.
skydiving chute, which is not like a circle. It's like a square, a rectangular tent above you.
Yeah.
And then you go around in circles for 5 minutes, and you're never scared after you leave the plane when you're flying through the air.
I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy.
You know when you're scared? When the ground's coming up to meet you. Okay?
Yeah.
But it's so beautiful, and if you just listen to the instructions and everything goes great, I landed so perfectly on the ground, running and smiling, and I photographed the whole thing was filmed because I paid for it to get filmed.
Okay.
And they used my jump for a promotion for years. Because my jump is so perfect.
Good for you.
The
That's
other
awesome.
two people that I went with, they both fell down or whatever. But that's not how it usually goes for me. I just listen to the instructors,
Exactly.
do everything they say, and I'm so serious about it because it's my life. I might die. Right? So I just do it exactly.
Val,
as they say.
that's exactly my thoughts. I mean, I don't think you could talk me into, at least not at this age, either one of those things, bungee jumping or skydiving. Although in my youth, I wanted to go skydiving. At 25, 26, I wanted to go. I couldn't get anybody else to go with me. I was the only crazy freaking guy. So
Well, this was the thing, though. I loved it so much that I said I'm never doing it again. And that was a weird thing for me. But I said I loved it so much that I could become a person who wants to go skydiving all the time and then could end up dying because something could go wrong or whatever. Like,
I'm telling you.
so
Yes.
I said that on that one on my bucket list, I did it.
Hey, at this point, you can say you did it. Yep.
The other thing that I was telling, I went rock climbing. I went to every cavern and cave that I could ever go to. And I did spelunking tours where you paid extra money and you slithered through wormholes of mud where you're like, really? I'm going into this like skinny little hole for about 300 feet. And they taught you had a headlamp on. But they taught you, and you get stuck in there, and you can't move. Exhale, and that'll give you a little bit of room, and you can wiggle through. I mean, I did the craziest, most wonderful things, and it brought me great joy. And there's so many places I wish I could go. Average Joe Patriot showed a whole bunch of the greatest water places you could ever go in the world.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to go there now, but I can't. And I don't really want to travel to all these places anymore as I'm older. I don't even trust the world right now to go on these bucket lists.
Yeah.
I did see the Mona Lisa in Paris. And
Good for
I did
you.
see Dave. Yeah, I saw David, too, and I've done a few things. I spent time in Alaska and never saw the Northern Lights, but, man, Alaska's amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I haven't been that many places, but I've been to Canada 3 times. I went to the Olympics in 1976 when I was 14 and saw
Wow.
Nadia Comaneci.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's freaking cool.
There's some wonderful things that I got to do in my life. So
Wow.
I don't have a lot of regrets that I didn't get to do anything.
Well, good for you,
You know
Val.
what I mean? Yeah.
Hey.
Anyway, I knew it was going to be long and I would talk too much.
That's all right. We're getting towards the end of the show, so I'm probably going to have to rumble, kiddo.
Yeah. All right.
But
I love you,
I
man.
love your phone call, and you.
What time are you going on tomorrow morning? Because this modding job is serious. And,
well,
and I would love it if you started putting up a thing for me and Joe and Lane, just a notification for Foxville people so we know what time we're going on.
So on Saturdays, the only thing I wait for is I defer to my friend.
Going on.
Yep, I defer to my friend Craig. If he's going on out of respect for my dear brother, I hold off until he's done. So I'll have to check. I'll check the board in the morning and see if he's going.
But the thing about me and Joe and Lane is we like to be there a little. We want to know what time you're going on so we can be greeting people before you go on.
I get it.
All right.
I'll let you know.
I want you to know that because it's kind of a thing. So.
I'll let you know if I
All
can.
right. I love all you sailors. Thanks for listening to me ramble.
I learn more about you every time we talk, Val. Thanks for your call, darling.
All right.
Love you, sister.
Love you too. Bye.
Well, I gotta say, that's a fearless woman, right there. That is a freaking fearless woman. She's got a lot in common with Mrs. Zoe. There's no question about it. No freaking question about it. You gotta have guts to do that kind of thing. Me? Yeah, it's be like riding a bull. Speaking of riding a bull, here's my brother, the Texan. How you doing, my man? It's been a minute.
Oh man, dude, I've been all right. I'm tired. I just want to say, man, kudos to everybody that wants to jump out fucking airplanes and off bridges and shit. My feet will stay firmly on the ground. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna tell you right now. If I'm jumping off a bridge, that some bitch gonna be collapsing like the Francis Scott Key. So I gotta say about that shit. I ain't fucking jumping off shit. And before I jump out of an airplane, I'd rather take a voyage on the Titanic too. To be honest with you, I mean. kudos to them, man. They some brave motherfuckers are crazy as hell one or the other. I mean, I'm crazy, but not that. I ain't that crazy.
Well, something tells me you know, in that misspent youth of yours, you probably rode a few bulls or something like that along the way, right?
I never was a bull rider, but yeah, I broke some horses and stuff. That's one thing about, I've said that before. When I was a bouncer in a bar, I never understood these bull riders, man. I didn't. I tell you, how are you going to handle and whoop somebody's ass that rides 2,000 pounds of nothing but piss and vinegar?
With a baseball bat.
Oh, man, with you and about 10 of your friends. I mean, he rides 2,000 pounds just for shits and giggles.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, horses and stuff. And I've done some crazy shit in cars and trucks and all that and everything. But no, I like my feet planted firmly on the ground. Man.
Nothing wrong with that as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But no, man, my bucket list. This probably won't surprise you when I tell you this. Is I actually really have always wanted to go to the IBT in Washington, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the headquarters up there in Washington.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go there. I've been close, but never made it there.
I was going to say, a guy who travels the country for a living, you haven't made it up there.
Well, no, I've been on the Beltway around D.C. many times.
Oh, sure.
You can't get an 18-wheeler off in there, I'm
Yeah.
restricted. Can't get in there. But, yeah, it's at 25 Louisiana Avenue is where it's at, right down the street from the Capitol building and the White House.
I'll be damned.
Matter of fact, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, the funeral procession went right in front of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters.
I'll be damned.
Building there. And Jimmy Hoffa refused to lower the flag, the American flag. That's why the news cut that part out.
No shit, huh?
He was standing out front, actually shooting them the finger when they went by.
Yeah, he had a thing against the Kennedys. Well, they threw him in jail.
Well, they threw him in prison. Yeah, they threw him under the damn prison. Yeah, no, but honestly, there's so much history and everything right there. I mean, going to the White House would be pretty cool. I know you've been around that area. I've heard about some things that happened on a certain day. But I personally would rather go to the IBT and walk in there. And I would actually like to walk into the office where Jimmy Hoffa conducted business back in the day, man.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list right there.
There you go. Awesome. Well, heck, Haas, you got right. You were the last call of the night, man. You were right there at the cutoff line. I'm glad you made it in. How's the new job treating you?
Oh, I'm hurting like hell every day I get home, but I tell you what, I got plenty of bread to eat, and I'm making dough.
There you go, my man. That's good for you. That's great to hear. Great to hear, man.
Hey, brother. I just walked in the last part of your show. I wanted to call in, but
very good.
I'll give you a holler here shortly.
Sounds good.
Talk to you.
Sounds good.
All right, brother.
All right, buddy. Be good. That's our dear brother, the Texan. You can hear the Texan on his wonderful video show on Foxhole. He has a great show on the Foxhole. Look for him and look for he and I together on a little show called The Hippie and the Hat. When we can pull it off together, when he's not too tired and I'm not too tired and we're in the same place at the same time, we love to do a show together. And something tells me we're going to pull something off here real soon. Probably won't be a Friday night, but maybe a Saturday night. So we'll figure it out. We'll keep you guys posted. We will keep you guys posted. Speaking of keeping you guys posted, I'm going to let you know that I'm going to be releasing the Scratchin' over there at Pilled Foxhole, and then over here with the wonderful Lemon Slingers, and believe me, they are many. I love these Lemon Slingers. I'm going to put a little something inside of that treasure chest. Let's give away a little love here tonight. Let's give away some love. Come on, take it. Okay. We have put something inside of the treasure chest. Now let's release it. It is coming your way. The treasure chest is coming your way. I want to take this moment to invite you, my friends, if you have not ever made a stop to my Saturday afternoon show. My Saturday afternoon show is it's the one they all want to attend. Okay, this is the one they're all talking about. It's only on D Live and Pilled Foxhole. You can't get it anywhere else. Excuse me. Dinner's coming back for second helping. Seriously, typically somewhere between 10 and 11 a.m. Pacific time, I fire up the best classic rock you've ever heard, and I go for 4 or 5 hours. As long as I'm having a good time, I'll keep the music flowing. You can find me at ZosoDude77 at DLive or Pilled Foxhole, pilled.net. Come and check us out tomorrow if you don't have anything else going on. I very much appreciate all of you hanging out with me tonight. It has been a pleasure. I've learned quite a few things about my people. They are fearless. I have all the respect in the world for you, Val. You're not getting me to jump off a bridge. That ain't happening. not happening anytime soon. And look at this. Look at our lemon winners. Jayla, 17, on top of the heap. TL Spud, right behind her. Gloria Paddock. Sleeping Stars. Hey, you made the list. And Miss Kitty. Miss Kitty on the board. Fantastic. Good for you guys. Good for you guys. All right, peeps, I'm going to shut them on down. Shut them on down. It's been long enough for this poor guy. I've been whooped. The folks this week kicked my hiney. I'm not kidding you. I had my ass handed to me this week. If anybody deserves this weekend, by God, you are looking at him. I'm going to fall asleep I'm not kidding you, about 10 minutes flat. That's the kind of whooping your brother Zoe took this weekend. Let's mosey. Let's mosey on out of here. Let's ask what you're doing later. Hopefully you're joining me tomorrow. Joining me tomorrow, sometime around 10 or 11 Pacific. Pilled Foxhole, that's pilled.net, or DLive, ZosoDude77. Thank all of you, wonderful folks, for hanging out. It's been a pleasure to spend some time with you and learn what it is that makes you tick. Thanks for all the people who called in. Thank you to my incredible mods. Thank you to the audio club over there at DLive for straightening my ass out first thing in the morning. That's wonderful. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. We're going to boogie it on out of here. We are going to boogie it right on down. I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Come and join us tomorrow. Seriously, join us tomorrow if you can. We would love to have you aboard. It would be great. See you around the bend, my friends. Good night.